Hi, in this video we are installing RideBlitz Sensor Ring for bike that has Bosch ABS. There are two models of the sensor ring. Bigger, R70 that has diameter of 150 millimeters, and smaller, R58 that has diameter of 127 millimeters. Make sure that you order the correct sensor ring for your bike. Start by removing the original sensor ring. It is held in place by 6 screws. Place the RideBlitz sensor ring on top of the brake disc. Screw the 6 screws back in place and tighten them. Make sure that the sensor ring is tightly against the brake disc. There should be no gap between the sensor ring and the brake disc. If there is a gap between the sensor ring and the brake disc, the sensor ring will hit the sensor mounting, preventing the wheel from rotating. If this happens, you can bend the sensor ring slightly to make it little convex, so that it will fit better when tightened. Do not bend it too much, as the middle part of the sensor ring will then hit the sensor mounting. You can test the convexity of the sensor ring by placing it on a flat surface and see if it is touching the surface in the middle. If your bike has centerlock brake disc, you need to use centerlock adapter and a 6-screw brake disc. Mount the adapter on the brake disc and then mount the sensor ring on top of the brake disc. Screw the 6 screws in place to the adapter and tighten them. Make sure that the sensor ring is tightly against the brake disc. There should be no gap between the sensor ring and the brake disc. If there is gap, act as previously described. Then you can mount the brake disc on the center lock socket. Fasten the center lock nut securely. Now you can mount the wheel back on the bike. Then you should check that the sensor ring is not hitting the sensor mounting, and wheel is rotating freely. If the sensor ring is hitting the sensor mounting, you can adjust the sensor mounting by loosening the screws and moving it slightly outwards. In this case, you need to remove the brake caliper to access the sensor mounting screws. Then loosen the screws and move the sensor mounting slightly outwards. Then tighten the screws again. Now the sensor ring should not hit the sensor mounting. If it does, you can adjust the sensor mounting again. And you should also check that the sensor ring is tightly against the brake disc. Then you can mount the brake caliper back on the bike. Before tightening the screws, make sure that the brake caliper is centered on the brake disc. This is how you install RideBlitz Sensor Ring on a bike with Bosch ABS. Thank you for watching, and have a nice ride.